Hello, Mayor. Welcome back. My name is Mayor Jerome, and this is SimCity BuildIt, where I try to briefly, well, maybe not so briefly, but in a not too long clip to try to explain what I did for the blueprint Speedbuilds lately. So this topic in this video was Tropical Haven, and it required a minimum of 4 beach buildings, and all residentials must be covered by landscape items. Now, the topic, or a popular topic lately on the Facebook groups, is that for new players who have not amassed a large prize collection of previous Contest of Mayor seasons, or haven't been able to gain as much coin or golden keys to buy the more expensive specialization buildings. Well, I can understand that these type of quick speed build things that you need to complete within 2 days can be tricky, because if you have been playing this game for years like I have, you actually did manage to come by a large amount of special buildings like castles and casinos. And just lately, the previous Contest of Mayor season was all about Roman buildings. So a lot of people are trying to use those buildings to spruce up the general look of their city, which is understandable. But yeah, if you're a new player, that's not that easy to do. So for this city, I thought to myself, okay, imagine if I'm a new player and I can't use any of the buildings to make my city look more dense or look more historical, or just in general make it look more pretty. So the only thing that I was able to do or use is the blueprints, which the game gives you and which you can quite easily amass during those 2 days. And yeah, use the minimum that is needed to actually reach those bonus goals, so that when you upload a picture of your city, you actually can score all the requirements to submit your city, and you have at least all of the blueprints that you can get from just submitting your city, which lately I think is 300 blueprints. I think it used to be 250, but now it's 300. So anyway, by the end of this city, when it was completed, I did the math, and I just used 40,000 simoleons and 14 golden keys. 40,000 simoleons is like, even if you're a new player, you should be able to get that in just a few days. I like to do planks a lot, and cement bags, because, well, those unlock fairly soon. And they're actually the items that for mayors who have been playing the game for a longer time, cement bags aren't necessarily used in a lot of items, but they do pop up quite frequently to upgrade residential buildings. And they do take like 48 minutes to make each and every single one. So, okay, you can use golden coins to speed up that process. But for the lower level players, if you can just focus on building planks and cement bags, there are a few other things, but I just focus on those two. Those are items that the mayors of higher levels will actually sometimes actively search for on the marketplace. And if just before you go to bed, you make sure that you have all your factories making something while you sleep. In my case, I usually go for the chemicals. and the animal feed bags. That's usually what I put in my factories just before I go to bed. And then, by morning, when I'm on the bus going to work, I just take them out of my factories, and I produce something with them. But anywho, I'm supposed to talk about this city here, not about my tactics of always having my factories making something. So welcome to my city. I have christened it District 4014 because I used 40,000 simoleons and 14 keys. It's a very symmetrical looking city. That's just how I do it. For those who have seen previous videos, you will notice that it's just 2 residential batteries back to back, laid out in a very symmetrical layout by the beach. The beach only has 4 items. It's 2 times the 2 cheapest items in the beach section that you can get. It's a beach volleyball, and I think it's the lifeguard tower. And as to cover all the residences with landscapes, I just used 4 small ponds. They are quite strategically placed so that they cover all the residences. So by the end, I didn't upgrade all of the houses. I thought this is supposed to be a city in full redevelopment. And so I just clustered all the larger buildings downtown. And as you get more to the edge, the buildings become lower residential or lower density residential. I've been liking to make up little backstories. So as we are nearing the end of this day to night cycle, let me quickly try to explain or try to tell you the backstory of this tropical haven. District 4014 is one of the few seaside towns of the old regime that still flourishes today. Nothing more than a fishing hamlet in the 1920s, the town was rechristened into one of the many grid-patterned district towns that were built between 1935 and 1958. The number of the districts were not based on the actual number of districts being built, but are the sum of their construction cost. Being on the smaller side, D4014 was an inexpensive place to construct with tax money, as it only cost 40,000 simoleons and 14 golden regime keys. Now these keys were often less easy to come by than the general funds, which are used for parks, landscaping, or specialized structures. But thanks to smart planning, we were able to ensure that all criteria were met to achieve a positive planning evaluation, while still being able to gain 100% happiness levels for the residents. The revolution of 1988 was the beginning of the end for most of the district towns. By the end of the 80s, most towns were already struggling to keep general services going, and most of the mass-produced residences were up to half a century old. During the 90s, many residents moved out, and the majority of district towns became ghost towns. D4014, however, is one of the few who actually managed to avoid bleeding out thanks to its prime location by the Black Sea and the well-maintained National Highway I-14. From the late 1990s, and certainly during the start of the new millennium, new buildings steadily replaced the old communal residences and apartments. The addition of powerful electric wind turbines in 2013 made the old coal power plants obsolete, and their demolition has only recently been completed. As one walks along the very straight streets today, the general appearance does remain quite sparsely decorated, even to this day, as the surrounding land has been classified as a wildlife sanctuary, meaning there is little room to expand out. Now, the small cottages and occasional mansion constructed during the 1990s face demolition themselves by being replaced by middle to high-density apartments as more and more people attempt to score a residence or a pied-à-terre in this little seaside town. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like this video and maybe even subscribe. See you next time.